Okay, give me just a moment here. Let me pop out chat. And there we go. Welcome, and yes, once again, we're going to try to get this Orc Antipaladin done. I know. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead in just a few moments skip straight to ZBrush. Just if you're watching this after the fact, don't forget like, subscribe, share icon, and any cubic photon is awesome for minis. Okay, now what I do have to do is I have to make sure, and there we go. I'm going to load a subtool, but it's not going to be from Pixelogic. It's going to be the subtool for the... Oh! Ralph! No, Ralph. Down you go. Shoot. Shoot. Alright, now. Storage. 119, 3D printing home, meshes, Sculpt minis, Patreon minis, new, Orc Antipaladin, Orc Body Z tool. And it's going to take a moment to load, and then edit. Okay, looking at it, I don't like the helmet. The helmet looks too much like it's just like a mask. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the helmet. Goodbye. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the orc body. The reason being, we are then going to mask off the entirety of the head. And good. There. Now let me go ahead and hide everything else, because what I'm going to do is going to be odd. Okay. Then geometry or visibility, hide point. We're then going to geometry, modify topology, delete hidden, and then we're going back to polygroups, auto group. I'm going to select just that head, geometry, delete hidden. Okay, so this is what we currently have. And this is 2.34, or 234,000 triangles. We're also going to go and click close holes. Okay, now we go to Z remesher. We're going to go to half. Legacy Z remesher. And we're going to do this quite a bit until we get a very low polygon version of this head. Very low. It's going to take a few minutes for the first couple. Yeah. Okay, let's do that so we can see the results. We're going to go very low with this. We're down to 70,000 triangles. Let's see what it does now after this set. And throw this in the trash can. And get the last one here. It's down to 40,000. We're going to click it again. Because we want this so low resolution that it keeps the overall basic shape, but has almost none of the details at all. $23,000 or 23.7. 16. 11.6. We're gonna probably go down to like less than 1,000. That should be enough. Now what we're going to do is we're going to inflate it until it's mostly over the head. Okay, we can go ahead and deal with that. And then we're going to geometry. We're going to subdivide, just so that we have enough geometry to extract from. And we need at least one more. There we go, delete lower. We're going to subtool. Now, click this button just to make sure we keep it all the same size. And we are going to... Now, let's get this over here. And get started drawing on where we're going to have our helmet. So we're going to bring this, actually, let's go ahead and let's actually make this one with the lazy mouse on. Because what we're going to do is we're going to kind of draw on. Alright, how low did I go for that side? Just above the bottom. Okay. Now we're going to turn off lazy mouse for this, because we're going to fill in this area in here. Alright, we're going to turn off the transparency because we don't need it anymore, because it was just needed for those areas on the eyebrow where the orc's eyebrow was poking through. Now, we're going to turn back on the lazy mouse. We're going to erase. Alright, now we're going to hide this after. Let's do that. And now we're going to extract 0.02. Accept. And that came out really nicely. That's exactly what I was hoping to get. And we combine that with the jaw. We can put a hinge on top of those earpieces. Now, what we need to do, we need to give it a... We can go ahead and just delete that now. Actually, no, let's leave it hidden in case we need it for something else in the future. So we go back to geometry. We're going to Dynamesh this at 512. Dynamesh. Now, we're going to... Actually, no, let's make that 256. Because I want to smooth out this a bit easier. Now let's shrink the mouse a bit. I'm going to kind of bring it here. And here. Okay, frame out. Now, the next thing we're going to do for this is we're going to go ahead and add in some sharpness lines. So let's divide it a couple times before we do that. We're going to use slash add, drop that intensity way low, and make it really, really big. And what we're going to do is we're going to take it from the top here. There we go. And then from here, same thing. Nope, that didn't work. I was too close. There. We're also going to use the move tool. We're going to kind of move this bottom end of this side forward just a little bit to cover up that jaw piece. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take layer. No, we're not going to take layer. We're going to mask this, what we're about to do. Just come down the center. No, because we need to subdivide it a couple bits more first. We're going to use this. Oh, that's too big. There we go. Alright, now pull out, and this is going to be like a come on, open, thank you. Thickness 0.15. There we go. Geometry. Now, we're going to smooth out the front of it. I'll go ahead and hide everything but what I'm working on, because okay. Polygroups, auto group. There we go. Now, alright, let's go ahead and do it this way. Yeah, this way. Okay, now we're going to push it a little bit. Okay. Okay. I think that helmet looks a little bit better than the previous one. We'll be adding in deco to it later. So next up is, ow, we're gonna merge this down and entirety of the helmet there. Okay. Now we need to add in, let's make sure we got the cloth there. And we can go ahead and delete this. Okay, so now we need to add in the rest of the armor. Now the first thing that we're going to do for this is we're going to make pauldrons. Big old monstrous looking pauldrons. The kind that would make World of Warcraft jealous. Okay. Obviously this one is going to end up being larger than the one on this shoulder because this shoulder doesn't have as much, it isn't as easy to access. And so right here, give it a nice sharp edge. Okay. Now this is going to be extracted at not 0.02, but 0.035. Not enough, make that 0.05. Accept. Draw. Then we're going to grab the Move Topological tool, make it a whole lot bigger. Gonna grab down here and pull this, not big enough. Pull it up to there. And then we're gonna grab down here and pull it out that way too. And then here, and pull it out that way. Okay, that's no, still not enough. And make sure that it goes in. There. And now we're going to go on this side. We're going to pull this out. Alright. Now we're obviously going to be detailing those later. But that's our big old king-sized pauldrons. Now we need to do the lames, which is the armor that comes underneath them. And before we do that, we hide these and then make sure to erase the existing. Turn on transparency. Turn that off, we don't need it. Turn those back on just so you can see where they are. And switch back to standard so we can draw on our lames. And we're gonna draw down, draw across, draw across, and then draw up. And then okay, and now the lame over here. Once again, we're going to come down, come up this way, okay. Now, let's extract that. We're going to extract it the same, let's make that 0.035, extract, accept, draw, and draw. Now, one thing we need to do with these, we need to go ahead and dynamesh them, 256, because we need to come in here and smooth that out. And there we go. And I died. Delete lower. Geometry. Merge down. Okay. Now we're going to add on the breastplate, which is going to be difficult. What we got to do is we got to hide the jaw and head and brows. Then we're going to draw on get that on there. This is going to be his breastplate. We're going to bring it up around this way and then erase here because it didn't need it there. I'm going to have to come back in with a smaller brush in here to redo that. One thing you got to watch out for is making sure you're using the right size brush. Oh. Yeah. And as we come around, we're gonna come this way. Okay, now let's shrink down the mouse so we can get in here and do this. Alright, there we go. Now we're going to extrude at 0.02. Or extract at 0.02. Accept. Draw. That's not visible. Okay. Now we're also going to go ahead, well, let's draw to get rid of that. Geometry. We're going to Dynamesh at 256. And we're going to use that. We're going to smooth out the chest just a bit. To make it look more now smooth out this just to make sure it looks more like shaped metal and not like spandex. Okay, now we're going to subdivide it a couple times. Delete lower. We're going to seam 16, intensity 20. And we're going to draw down. Actually, no, we want to draw it down here because we want to try and catch up with that little wrinkle right there. And then we're going to do it here too. Whoop, wrong way. Got to go up. And here. Oh. Okay. And that's our breastplate in place. Let's go ahead and give it a two-way seam. Oh, I'm gonna go up here. Okay. Like I said, we'll detail it later, and it'll include belly plates. Now, right now, it's not looking like armor. It's looking like pads of foam on top of him. Actually, let's go ahead and add one more seam while we have this in here. We're going to make it no, not enough. Gotta make sure we're getting. Here we go. Start from down here, come all the way up top, and then all the way back down. And let's use move just to, or let's use inflate, but hit with a bit of a back, a little inverse deflate just to get the chest out of the groove there. We're going to do the same thing on the back here. We're going to come up, come back. All right, now we got to come from down here. Come all the way up and all the way back down. And we're going to deflate right here. No. There we go. Okay. Next up will be hip plates. We're going to hide the breastplate. And we're going to start drawing on where the hip plates are. Really big, but we're going to be trimming this a lot. And we hide the hands and forearm. Okay, now shrink this down quite a bit. And then we're going to kind of come under like that and come back and then back. Okay, now we extract that out. Accept. And we erase the masking from him. Now on these, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to ZBrush it. again. We're going to keep doing this until we have a bit smoother sides to it. Yeah. Okay, we're going to go ahead and use the move tool, shrink it down a bit, kind of move this in. Okay, we're also going to kind of move this areas up a bit to make them a bit more even. There. Let's make the body invisible real quick because that's getting in the way. Yeah, and then we're gonna loop in here and up there. Okay, now we're gonna go back to geometry and we're gonna subdivide it a little bit and Dynamesh at 256, and then subdivide it until we get there. We're gonna go back to Team 16 and we're gonna make 2 arcs. Let's see, do we want it from right to left? Yeah. And there. Actually, no. First, I'm going to use, well, we're going to take standard. We're going to choose an alpha. It's about like that. I'm going to increase the draw size quite a bit and focal shift down. And then we're going to draw. Good. Too much. No. This one. Let's decrease that intensity quite a bit. There we go. All right. Then we're going back to slash. I'm going to shrink this a bit. And we're going to sharpen this edge that we just made. Sharpen this one. And there we go. Now we're going back to seam 16. And we're going to there, there. And here, we're going to come from here. There. 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 Now for here, this is going to be there, 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 and then there, there, there. Frame out and make our body visible again. And there's our thigh plates. We are going to have to go ahead, go back to inflate, and with an alt kind of deflate underneath where these creases are. Make sure they're not going through the armor plates. Okay. So now we still need to make decoration on these hit plates right there. We're going to drag that out a little bit to make sure it's looking like it's on top of the chest plate. Okay. And then here we need to grab that one a little bit out. Okay. Now we need to give him leg plates, or at the very least, sabatons, and bracers, and possibly backhand protection. Let's do the bracers first, because they tend to be a little bit easier, and we can take care of them and be working on them for a little bit. Basically just mask off the arm. Actually, we're going to come back a little because we want to give it a bit of a sharpness to it. So the back end of the bracer is at an angle. Now we're going to do something similar here. We're going to draw there. Move. And we're going to come up to there. That's our bracers. Now let's go ahead and extract them at 0.02. Accept. Get rid of that. Get rid of that masking. And once again, we're going to decorate them after we've done with placing all of the geometry. I'm actually thinking the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mail cloth and subdivide it a few times, merge down, and dynamesh it and smooth it over where it is here. Now we're going to smooth out this seam. Okay. We're going to use that seam 16 once more to kind of bring out a division there. And then using transparency, we're going to select where on the waist his belt will be, which will be about here. and that's going to be extracted only at 0.1. Or point, yeah, 0.1. 0.01 actually, but anyway, accept, draw, select him and draw to get rid of that masking. Now here, going to geometry, we're going to Dynamesh at 128. Shrink the mouse, and smooth that. Then we're going to subdivide it a few times, delete lower. The reason for that is because that way it doesn't keep that seam from the... There we go. We've got his belt in place. We're going to put a skull for his belt buckle. And we're going to move it back like that. There. And we're going to hit draw, so we can got that in place. Frame in. We're going to split unmasked parts because we need to Dynamesh that. Or not Dynamesh, we need to subdivide that. Okay. So that's his belt buckle. Oh, he'll have a belt of skulls. Or a string of skulls. We also need to make his, like I said, his shin armor and knee armor. We're actually going to do the knee armor first, and what we're going to do is we're going to select here, just like that. Oh wait, subtool. Select the orc, and then select there. Deselect there and there. Let's go ahead and make it transparent. I'm going to select there. And then I'm going to tilt to there. And we're going to deselect there. Okay, that's going to be that foot's knee, that leg's knee. And I'm going to select. Whoa. Now, let's get to there. And now we deselect that. And that's the knees. We're going to extract them at 0.02. Actually, let's extract them at 0.025 just to make sure they go up higher than the Now we go here, we're going to move it a little bit just to make sure that that goes out, that it looks like it's resting on the knee plates, not blended with them. there. And those kneecaps can stay where they are for right now. And now it's time for the greaves. This one is very simply from here up to there. Then gonna kind of make it even, come down till that's mostly flat. And we're gonna do something similar here. We're gonna come back, come up to there. And now we're gonna extract this at 0.02. Accept. Draw. Now the next thing we're going to do with this one's going to get a 256 Dynamesh and a subdivision until it's a few there. We're going to seam 16. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yes, because it makes a great place for overlapping. Oh, no, we want it to come this way. Actually, let's make it a little bit bigger and a little bit deeper, a little bit more extreme. And oh yeah, let's real quick, polygroups, auto groups, and geometry we're going to delete hidden. I just noticed that. Okay, now. Now we frame out. We're going to use on the orc body, we're going to use the seam 16 to draw on okay. Okay. And then we're gonna come up from there. Frame out, and that's the leg armor. Okay, I'm thinking that I've got most of the geometry in place except for one piece, and that's going to be the belt of skulls that's going to kind of hang down in front of the waistcloth. So what I'm going to do is, now that I've got him selected, I'm going to go to rope, my rope brush, shrink that down a bit. And I'm going to come from here There. And then I'm going to put skulls on that. Split unmasked parts. Geometry, we're going to divide it once. No. We're going to select the rope and divide it once. Now we go back to this one. No. Where's it? That one. And we're going to click on that. And what we're going to do, we're going to start drawing on skulls. And we're going to split them off as we do. No, we want it to be lower, so yeah. No. Okay, now I'm going to merge these down to each other. And here we're going to go to the knot. I'm going to add a knot to the end of each end of the rope here. Make it look like it's tied around something up there. And up here as well. Now we frame out. And we've got your belt of skulls. And it's time to start decorating that armor. Well, the thing is, that skull in the middle of the belt, we can easily replace it. All we got to do is bink. And one thing we can do from here is we can now make this a... Oh, no, not there. Here. Make it a gemstone buckle. So which looks better, the gemstone buckle or the skull buckle? Okay. So we're going to go to the skulls. I'm going to select this one. And geometry, delete hidden. We're going to add 2 more here. Okay, now go back to the skull polysphere. Zoom in. I'm going to draw in a couple others, a couple more skulls. No, we want it up higher. Split unmasked points. Okay, now we're gonna merge down, 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 down. Okay. There we have your belt of skulls. And just so we can see a bit of the fullness of the whole thing, there's bringing the teeth and the weapons. Okay, now, what sort of theme do you want for the decoration on the armor? Do you want it like the hip plates, where it's got, uh, the sharp ridges and the dish imprints? The axes are last. We're doing the armor first. Okay, and we also have to do the hands before. Actually, we have to do the hands before we can finish the armor, because we need to add the plates on the back of the hands. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take care of these hands. We go to inflate. Make sure it's only 10. Shrink this down to fit the fingers. There. Let's make it one more. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to come down that way, that way, that way, and that way. Smooth that out. And then we're going to add in our knuckles here and here, and then just and then we go ahead and inflate in here and in here. That's that hand. And then coming around here. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And now And now we kind of do this one. And these are gonna be extracted out. Except draw. These are also going to be simplified, so they look more like armor and less like gloves. We're going to go to geometry. We're going to dynamesh at 128. Actually, no, we need to dynamesh at 256. Keep the edges a little sharp. Then we go to Z remesher. We're going to Z remesh 1. Oh, half. Ahem. Half. There, now we're going to subdivide. And there's our hand plates. The next thing we're going to be decorating is the shoulder plates. So that's those, that's the belt. Scroll down to the shoulders right here. Yeah, adding structure and used etc. to the axe is the very last thing we do. Now, you never did answer my question about the rest of your armor. Do you want this fluted look where it's got the sharp edges and the dishes? Do you want more of a crude hammered look? Do you want parts of it hammered and parts of it with the detail? I'm going to assume that you want the fluted look then. Okay, we're going to start from here. No, that's almost good. Yeah. And then we're going to come from here. There. There. And from here. And now we go to slash, so that we can sharpen this. Okay, now, actually one thing we need to do real quick, we're going to polygroups and we're going to auto group so that we can now hide that one and add in and we're going to use move, pull the points down a bit. Okay. Then we're going to use seam 16. We're going to come... Okay, that's where we need to be, yeah. And then... Yeah. We got to give it some kind of detailing, otherwise it looks quite boring. So now we go back to standard. We go from here, there. Actually, make this visible and hide everything but the pauldrons. Okay, now we go back to slash and we sharpen these edges. Now, standard, we're going to come down this way, and then we're going to come down that way. And with slash, we're going to sharpen that edge, and then sharpen this edge. Then I'm going to grab the move tool, and as before, we're going to grab it and kind of pull this down and pull this down. Then with seam 16, we're going to add in okay. Now let's turn on the body just to glance at it. Yeah, those are looking pretty good. Now the next thing we need to do is the breastplate. Okay, so we're going to go back to standard, and we're going to draw in on the belly plate mostly. Right. There we go. And down here. Okay, it's time to work on the bracers now. One of the first things we're going to do with the bracers is we're going to use the seam to actually make them into bracers with a seam Okay. I do need to go ahead and dynamesh it at 512. Divide it 1, 2. Now, how do you want their bracers handled? Do you want them to be banded or... Actually, let me go ahead. Let's keep with the theme. Let's keep it still looking kind of... Going to come from the back to there. Back down the center. And then slash. We're going to sharpen 1. Gonna sharpen 2. Sharpen 3. We're also then going to take inflate Z sub and we're going to make it bigger. And we're going to kind of whoop. Okay. Now we're going to do it to this one, this arm. Okay, and slash, we're gonna... Okay, frame out. That's those bracers. Let's bring up the rest of the armor real quick. Now we need to do the calf armor, and that's the kneecaps. Let's do it with the kneecaps too. We're gonna draw it. Kneecaps are gonna go down the center. One, two, three. Bring that down. Okay, now the calves. We're going to do something similar here what we do with the bracers, but we're going to go it on the sides only. We're going to go it on the sides only. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I'm going to do some same one down here. And now we go to the slash. We're gonna now here. Frame out. Okay. The armors have their deco. We need to go ahead and make the belt buckle geometry divide lower move. Let's bring that move back to 0 focal shift so we can move this properly. And we're going to move from down here out a little bit just to make sure it sticks out. And then we're also going to move this whole thing down a little bit and out just a little bit. Let's make the belt visible. Okay. Now, the last thing to do before we start getting on the weapons is we need to give, well, first of all, get rid of that. There. Now, clay buildup. What we're doing with this is we're going to make the wrinkles of now we go back to slash. I said back to slash, but we go to sub, we increase the intensity up to about there, and we shrink this down. And we need to turn transparency on so that we can do the whole thing. Okay. I do believe that it is now time to start working on the axes. And then there'll be time to do the one thing that we forgot and that we missed. First, we're going to subdivide these axes. And then we're going to dynamesh them at 768. We're also going to, we need to make the tusks a little bit smoother real quick. Okay. Please note, his upper arms, palms, and thighs are unarmored. Also, I seem to have not turned on his calf armor and a couple other pieces. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. There we go. That looks a lot better. After we do these axes, there's one thing left to do. Do you know what that is, Larg? We didn't decide on a base. Alright, so the axes. Let's start with this one. Alright, now one thing about this axe, this is a very basic axe. So we're going to use the move tool and we're going to start playing around with the handle a bit, making the handle a bit more erratic. Inflate. Then we're going to use the rake tool. going to give it a bit of a wood grain. And this is one where we want it to be kind of jaggedy, freehandy, because that makes it look more natural. And then okay. And then we just kind of bring it up the top. The next question is, you say you want damage. Do you want battle damage, or do you want it to be, like, rusted? Things like that. Larg? Do you want it to be, like, rusty and falling apart like that, or do you just want chips and chunks taken out from battle damage? Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting. Sorry. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start off. We need to make sure that it's back face masked. Now, too big and not deep enough. Okay. Let's have this one have chunks taken out of it. Now let's go back to inflate, and we're gonna make this a bit more stylized handle. We're gonna inflate this area in front of the hand. There. And then here. And here. And rake. There we go. And we're gonna rake down for wood grain. And adding. Okay, I'm going to take a couple chips out of the edge of this one. Nope, it's not doing it. Oh well. Nope. So we do what we did before. We go back to orb cracks and draw on some of these. Now, to get in some roughness, what we're going to do is we're going to use inflate. We're going to set it to Z sub, lower it in scale and size, and we're going to load in alpha. There, yeah. And then we're just going to kind of. And let's load it in here. There we go. Okay. Okay. And now the one thing we have been forgetting. Yep, the one thing we've been forgetting, the base. I kind of like the dried earth right there, or the cracked earth way, way over there. One of the two. And give me just a second. Alright. Now, let's insert Polymath 3D. Going to import faces, planetoid. Now we see a problem. He's too big for it, so we got to make it bigger. So we go deformation, size. There. Now, okay. Now, go back to subtool, zoom all the way up, select the body. Oh, jeez. Yeah, make that visible. There we go. Select the body, and we're going to start merging down. Now, before we actually merge this in, we do need to geometry, divide, delete lower. Merge down. Now we are going to dynamesh it, but this time we're going to dynamesh it at 1280. Okay, 5 million polygons. That's a bit too much to print. So we undo that, and now we go to Z plugin and open it up. Go down to Decimation Master. We are going for 150,000 triangles. And it begins. I would suggest painting the armor as if it's either iron or bronze. In fact, maybe both. Like the inner plates would be iron, but plates like the waist plate and the outer pauldrons would be bronze. And like the tail end piece of the hip plates be bronze. Maybe the toes and the rest be iron. And don't forget, like I said, his upper arms and his thighs are bare. And reordering. $150,000 triangles. There it is. The Orc Warlord. You could always paint his lower body to look like he's wearing pants, since it's got his butt covered. Alright, so what I do now is I export this into Patreon Minis, new Orc Antipaladin as Orc Antipaladin figure. And just to make sure, we're going to go to Modify Topology. We're going to weld points. And we're going to close holes. Now, we're going to re-export. We're going to re-export it just in case. So, whoops. Oops. Forgot to switch views. This is the final Orc Antipaladin. That could be done as lava rock, the way that the base is set up. And like I was saying, you could do things like have the pauldrons, waist plate, and like the toes, and maybe the last plate on the hip plates be bronze and the rest be iron, or something akin to that. And there we go. Yep. Okay, so he's saved. He's on the hard drive as Orc Antipaladin figure. It is 309. I'm going to go ahead and make an STL copy and make a quick render. And Larg, give me your email in the Discord. DM me your email in the Discord. Okay, so. Oh, there we go. Now, it is now time to end things. Tonight will be an Aslan from Traveler. Okay, so that's going to be 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Aslan. Gee, could they have taken a more obvious name?